Here are the nominees for Best Animated Feature Film. Onward, Over the Moon, A Shaun the Sheep Movie, Soul, and Wolfwalkers.
There you go. Fucking congrats, Will.
Thank you very much, Kevin. There's a little bit of tension because alphabetically we're the last name to be pulled out, and I have a feeling we were nominated for Song of the Sea as well, and we were the last name to be pulled out there as well. That was the first time I've heard it. That's the first time I've actually heard that clip, so thanks for playing that. I missed it.
So tell me, what's your day been like? How are you feeling?
My day has been pretty busy, but not in a, I'm trying to get my publicist in a line and get my makeup artist sorted out. My day, I literally found out because of daylight savings, I missed it. The whole announcement.
Oh God!
It was you. You told me. It was via you. I found out via you that we were nominated on WhatsApp. So literally, I got that message, and I went, "Oh wow, that's great!" And my alarm went, and I went, "Oh crap, I got to collect my kid from school." So I did I literally hopped in the car and did a school run. Came back.
How impressed were the kids?
Not at all impressed, as usual. With anything that I've ever done, it's always been just where's my food? And I had to do a second. I had to do lunch, a second school run, get back, get homework done. Had to do football training and get on the dinner situation, which we cobbled that together somehow.
It sounds so glamorous.
Hey, listen, the one glamorous thing I can say in the whole thing is, I did get a call from my agent to say congratulations while I was in the middle of the school run. Charlotte, my agent Charlotte, she's lovely, and she was the first one to get on the blower to me. And I was texting the lads, the directors, and there's been, to be honest with you, it's been lovely because although we're socially distanced and all that sort of jazz, there's been just this tidal wave of messages coming in, text messages and WhatsApp messages, and I haven't even been able to process the whole social media, Twitter and Facebook and all that. So it's just been busy. So this is kind of my first opportunity because the kids literally have just gone on to bed. So this is my first opportunity to kind of digest it and just kind of say, oh crikey, we've got the old Oscar nomination, which is great.
It really is. But I wanted to say to you, because obviously this is the second time now that you've written a film that's been Oscar nominated. So this has got to be a very different experience this time around than the last time.
Oh God, it's totally different, obviously, because we're not going to be going anywhere in the Best Animated Feature, and so we got nominated. We got to go over for that, but we were also nominated for a bunch of Annies as well, which was about 2 weeks beforehand, and just purely coincidentally, we're nominated for a load of Annies now for Wolfwalkers as well. But the thing I'm going to miss the most about the Oscar thing is that about 2 weeks before the actual Oscar ceremony happens, there's a thing called the Oscar Luncheon, and it's basically an event where all the nominees are gathered in a big ballroom, and you and you're sitting down to a kind of a wedding meal, but it's a luncheon, so it's not a full wedding meal, But there's no press, there's no publicity. It's all kind of closed doors, and it's just the nominees. There's none of the hangers on. So I was very, 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 very fortunate to go to the Oscar luncheon for Song of the Sea, and I was sitting at table number 2, Kevin.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, there's a lot of times I've been to a lot of award ceremonies, and
have you?
Not blown. Oh no, not a lot. A few award ceremonies, right? And let me put it this way: I've never won, right? So I've never had that tension of, oh, what's my acceptance speech going to be? Because I don't win these things, but they all invariably end up being quite boring and tedious because you're kind of locked in position for a number of hours.
Yeah.
But let me just say, the Oscar luncheon was just amazing. It was absolutely amazing because I was seated at table number 2, right? Mm-hmm. And what they do is there's a seating plan and they mix up all the nominees. So you don't know it's a lottery on who you're going to get seated with.
Okay.
So let me just put it to you this way. I was table number 2, which means right up the front. So table number 1 was beside me. And it was one of those few occasions where I said, where I actually remember just kind of using kind of meditative mindfulness techniques, where I said, absorb everything about this moment.
Yeah,
This is it. You're here now, and you're in this space, and take a look around you. And I actually drew a map of what the seating plan, right, on my little name tag, and I still have it beside me today. So I was seated. Right beside me was Richard Linklater.
And what was he wearing?
We're all wearing kind of like blazers. He was wearing hair. And it was such a lovely thing to introduce myself to him, and like the film that the Song of the Sea, and for him to go, oh my God, I just watched that with my kids 2 nights ago. It's absolutely amazing, and to have a conversation with him about a film that you wrote, someone who I really admire. He was there for Boyhood at the time, which was still a phenomenal film. But let me give you some. I'll name drop now some more stuff here. So literally sitting right behind me. So if you imagine you're at a wedding scenario, and I turned around, and right behind me there.
So I'm drunk.
You're drunk, and you turn around for a salt shaker, and you turn around to the fella behind you, and there behind me was Steve Carell, and I just went, "How are you, Steve?" But the reason everyone's there is because they're trying to explain procedures for the whole event. But let me keep going through this one, right? So over to my left, I remember looking over to my left at the table, at table number 1, and I saw this old fella in profile, and I went, Jesus, who's that? There's that fella there now. He's very familiar. And you know the way you bid a wedding, you kind of go, jeez, I know him from someplace now. And it took me about 10 seconds, and then I just went, oh jeez, that's Clint Eastwood. And there was Clint Eastwood sitting about 10 feet away from me, over to my left.
Was he talking to an empty chair?
No, he wasn't, no. And then I looked around, and at the table over my left-hand shoulder there was Bruce Dern and Laura Dern, father and daughter. And right behind me, there was
Ellie Sattler.
There you go. Oprah Winfrey was right behind me. And Marion Cotillard was there as well. I got to meet Michael Keaton. I got to meet Batman.
Jesus.
I got to meet Batman.
That's better than any Oscar nomination.
On that same day, yeah. His people are from Mayo. His original name, he's Michael Douglas. And his people, both sides of his family, I think, are from Mayo. And
do you know what Michael Douglas's real name is? It's Michael Jackson. It's not. Come on.
But all the nominees then gather for this class of 2015 photograph, where they all go on this kind of like benches, a tiered kind of step bench, and they take one big large group shot, and all the nominees get up there. And so they call everyone up individually. So they all walk by my table, they literally, Bradley Cooper came up and walked by me, and Emma Stone, and all this gang, and up at the very top on the back step, the Lord Theon Greyjoy or whatever, there was Clint, and he went up and he had knee surgery recently, and he kind of had a bit of a stumble going up there, not a stumble but a bit of a limp, But let me tell you this, when
hammered,
he wasn't hammered, but I want to give you a kind of sense of his stateliness, in this scenario. When the kind of the photo shoot ended and everyone started kind of to dribble away and kind of leave, Clint stayed up there as if, and it was like an unspoken thing that Clint,
like Zeus,
and he was accepting visitors, and I'm not joking, this is no lie. A natural line formed down the steps and out across the ballroom, like children going to meet Santa Claus. And everyone just fell in line. And this wasn't arranged, this wasn't pre-arranged. Just Clint was accepting guests. And I went up and I joined and I had to...
accepting an audience.
He was accepting an audience. And I had to step by, I remember having to step by Marion Cotillard, and I remember having to step by Marion Cotillard and Emma Stone were in deep conversation. I said, excuse me, lady, sorry, I had to go by. And I went up and had my shake of hands with Clint, and it was a very brief moment, but just asked where I was from, and he was very...
How hard was his handshake?
Yeah, he's a solid grip, but he didn't squeeze too hard.
Solid grip.
But it was an old knuckled hand, that sort of way.
Gnarly, knotted up.
So Kevin, that's the thing that's I'm missing the most. That was a special day.
So I think that we should also offer some congratulations at the moment to some of the other Irish nominees. So obviously Cartoon Saloon are up, but we also have we've Irish actress Carrie Mulligan, who I think she's from Donegal. Do you know her, Will?
Oh, she's one of the money girls.
We have Irish actor who's definitely not British, Gary Oldman. We also have Irish director and writer Emerald Fennell.
Our very own Emerald.
She's up for Promising Young Woman. She plays Camilla as well on The Crown. And I think we should congratulate as well some of the British nominees. We have Olvi Coleman, who's nominated for The Father. I hope I got that right. You know, some of the British names, they're very hard to pronounce. But I thought I'd just give a little shout out there and spread the love. So what are you going to be doing, Will, on the 25th? Are you going to be watching it live? April 25th?
I assume, I'll be watching it live, but I assume we'll do some sort of Zoom thing with the studio, and we did it for the Golden Globes, and they put on a kind of a show for us, and everyone did their best in considering the circumstances, played games and all this sort of jazz. So it's great. But I suppose the other thing I kind of want to say is, look, the significance of getting a nomination is absolutely huge, and I remember being a kid when this is a gas thing now, and it's one of those things I just thought about earlier on, and I only really admitted it to my wife, and not admitted, but said it to my wife and a couple of close friends. But I remember when I was a kid in North West Cork, and Kevin, from all the conversations we've had up to now, we know that we probably had a very similar kind of path or experience. But I remember watching the Oscars back in the 90s and having this sense of, God, that was this beautiful, I suppose, celebration of the magic of movies, which was the thing that you and I were falling in love with. And you see those montages, and you see all these icons and idols all in the room going up on stage. And I remember one time there was one that was hosted by Whoopi Goldberg. Now, and my passion for cinema was rooted, and it was growing. And there was, in her opening speech, she talked about when she was a kid, she had this kind of epiphany moment where she kind of felt, I think was watching Star Trek, and she felt, oh, maybe I could actually have a career of doing this. I could have a chance of actually being in this industry. And I remember her turning to this, looking straight down the lens of the camera, and she said, there's a kid out there watching this tonight, and I want to say to you, you can be here. You can do this. And this sounds cheesy and naff and maybe a little bit psychotic, but I felt that she was talking to me. And I felt a resonance, or I felt that was a kind of a trajectory that I wanted to pursue. Even though it was completely unachievable and I had nothing to it wasn't as if I was making films like Spielberg or Robert Rodriguez at that age or anything like that. I had nothing. And as I went on in my career, I'd still, through my studies, I wasn't the top student. Even when I was in studying film, I wasn't even the top best writer in my class. Even in this podcast, I'm not the best writer. You're a fantastic writer. But I just looked out, and I was. But what I mean by it is I'm very, very grateful, and I to have been fortunate enough to not just be, have worked with a company that produced a film that was worthy of being nominated once, but to do it twice it's a dream come true for that kid who was watching the Oscars back then, and it's a very it's a lovely thing. And I suppose it's good for me to do this podcast, even to acknowledge that.
You should be really proud, and I'm actually really proud of you. So I know how hard it is to do what we do, and I know that there's, it's a long process with a lot of notes and a lot of, disappointments along the way. But you've done it well, and you've really you've done it as well, where other people, I think, can watch your movies all across the world and feel something that you've put out there has resonated with them, and that's a beautiful thing, and it's absolutely fantastic. So, congratulations to you, and congratulations to all of Cartoon Saloon as well, to Tom and to Ross and everybody
thanks,
there.
Dude. And I'm sure Tom, they'll probably be listening, and listen, thanks, man. It's great. It's lovely. Yeah.
Do you know, as you were saying that there about Whoopi Goldberg, I remember watching the Oscars when Steve Martin was hosting, and Steve Martin looked up at the In Memoriam montage, and he said, one day I hope to be up there. And I felt the exact same way. And I think, It's achievable.
And here is a clip from the lad's latest Mini Bits bonus show. The full episode, plus 80 more, are available on their Patreon.
See ya, Mossy. I gotta go in and record another one of these fucking mini bits.
Oh, yes, this is all it.
I know. What are you doing?
Right now, on the Academy screener site, and I hit play, because there's only a few films on it for the first month or two. There's only like about less than 10 films on it. And Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is on here. So I hit play on that, and I'm hearing we're out in Afghanistan, and I'm hearing all the dirt, and I hear vehicles, and I hear the sound effects of characters walking. But when characters open their mouths, I don't hear any dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
there's no dialogue.
They've uploaded the wrong audio track. It's like that Tom Cruise trailer where it was just the sound effects.
Have you met an SP?
Yeah, and this film has been up on the screener site for a few weeks now, and they still have the wrong one here. Well, I tell you what films are actually up there for all Academy members to see, and they see what they've put up there.
But first of all, let's just throw to our theme. And I have to say, the feedback from my thank you ballad it was quite fierce.
The power of Christ compels you.
So I asked Mossy, who is a friend of my dad's at the quiz, sing us a theme tune.
Oh.
So over to Mossy.
Hit the cards. I'm fine, I'll get it done in one take. It's the Many Bits. Oh, podcast, what will they say? With Will and Kevin Cough.
Their best fucking podcast.
That'll do.
That'll do.
My God.
Thank you, Mossy.
He would make an angel weep. That voice would make an angel weep.
Telling you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Boolabus.
It only cost us 2 months Patreon money, so, you know.
Is that all? Money well spent, in my eyes.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get much for €20. Will, you were telling me before the intro that you were looking at stuff on the Academy Screeners website.
The Academy Awards. So for official members, yes. So they don't send out DVDs anymore. So how you do all your streaming stuff is all via the Academy website. And the streaming season has begun, which is exciting. So it means for the rest of the year...
Did it ever end?
It does end. It does. After the Academy Awards, there's about 2 weeks, and they take all the films down, and then they begin again at the end of August, and they all start coming up. So it's a whole new collection of hopefuls.
So how many films are on there?
Right now, about 10. Actually, 10 exactly. I can tell you the 10.
Oh, go on, tell me.
John Wick 4.
For the Oscars. Oh, because there's like...
Yes, because they're adding in stunt category, aren't they?
Are they adding it in? Is the stunt category being added?
I believe they're adding in some sort of stunt category.
Breaking news straight from an Academy member's mouth.
Because they're adding in stunt category, aren't they?
Slash film.
I don't know. Did I read this in an article? I feel they were.
I
felt they were.
Have long overlooked stunts, and my God, it's pure artistry.
Yeah.
And it is incredibly, well, these days, it's all fucking rubber computer generated avatars.
That's why we should that's why these people should be getting their Oscars when someone's actually going out there. Yeah,
go back,
absolutely.
Go back and give it to your man from Mad Max who broke his legs.
Give it to Richard Farnsworth, who was a stuntman and starred in The Straight Story. Yeah, Richard Farnsworth was a career stuntman. Absolutely.
Wasn't that also the case with Machete? What's your man, Machete? Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Is
really?
it Trejo or Trejo?
I always call him Trejo. He just says, call me Danny.
I was going to say that back to you.
Nah.
I was like, just that.
Weird.
Tells me just call him.